It's all good. Let's,
Welcome to the May 2025 meeting of the Planning Board.
I'll take a roll call. Mr. Abrams? Here.
Here.
Mr. Costanza? Absent. Ms. Hoffman? Absent. Mr. Rivera?
Here.
Present. Ms. Simmons-Hurling?
Here.
Present. Mr. Stamatopoulos?
Present.
Present. Mrs. Sullivan? Absent. Okay. So the first order of business is a public hearing. This is a public hearing regarding an amendment to the Revere zoning ordinance, which would establish a new definition and use of food trucks on private property. So the way the ordinance is written, there are certain districts where food trucks would be allowed, and all food trucks would have to be licensed by the License Commission, no matter where they are. But in the districts that are allowed is the RC2, which is along Revere Beach Boulevard on private property, PDD1, which is all of Suffolk Downs, Highway Business, which is basically Squire Road, and TED, which is basically North Shore Road, Lee Burbank Highway, and Mahoney Circle, the northern side of Mahoney Circle. And
TED is North Shore Road.
pardon me?
Right. North Shore Road,
North Shore Road,
then it goes from where?
well, North Shore Road, all on the west side, from a little bit past the fire station.
Freeman Fire Station?
Island, past Oak Island Street,
Yeah,
basically where the auto body shop is there, and then you have the animal clinic, and then you have G&J's.
Yep.
They have something there, and then also where the rental used to be,
Rent-A-Tool,
Rent-A-Tool, and that's it,
and that's it.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So it's basically a new definition, putting into the ordinance, the definition of a food truck, and regulating it in these use districts. And as I mentioned, they're all subject to permits from the License Commission, and yearly licenses from the License Commission in these districts. And that's it in a nutshell. It's pretty simple. So it would be none allowed on public ways, just on private property. And there's been a couple of requests already in certain areas within the Highway Business District and in the TED district. So,
How many food trucks do you think we're probably anticipating that will take advantage of this?
I would say there's probably 3 already that we know of that would probably apply for a license.
Do you think it'll be seasonal, or do you think it'll be year-long?
That's a good question. I mean, once they get a license, it's good for a year, so they could definitely run it for a year.
These 3 food trucks, did they have license before?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. But no more licenses are being issued for food trucks. Now they'll only be issued new licenses within these districts. One is, which is Highway Business, is where Domino's used to be. Right on that corner.
Right with the liquor store, Domino's?
Yeah,
They're gonna put a food truck out there?
I think they're gonna apply, that's a Highway Business
Yeah.
zone, yeah. Be a good spot for it.
So what happens with restrooms? What do they do there? I know they don't have any seating. Is there gonna be any convenience, or probably not?
No. No.
Next question. You said no more on public ways, so the ones that historically were on public ways, that is no longer,
No longer.
okay, so it'll only be permitted in private property, so even, the ones at the beach, for example, at the bottom of the footbridge, and that is no longer available? It would have to go on private property?
Yeah, yeah.
And our question may not necessarily be the location, are we gonna limit the hours of operation?
That's all under the control of the License Commission.
Okay.
They have their own regulations
Yeah. And
that they would go by.
this would simplify the process where I believe before, some had to go through MDC, some had to go through licensing. There was several kind of controlling entities. This would make it a sole accrediting body.
Right, right. As I mentioned, the only one would be DCR Control Authority on the Revere Beach Boulevard and their roadways.
Would we like to open up this hearing? Are there any proponents here to speak to this tonight? Are there any opponents here to speak to this? Hearing and seeing none.
Motion to close the hearing?
Yes.
I'd like to just make a recommendation to the council, if it's okay, is that they consider, and I think they may already have it, but I'm not sure, that when they approve a license to put a food truck on private property, even though it's private, but it is controlled by the License Commission, that they have a decibel noise rating, and I'd suggest 45 dBA,
Not to exceed 45.
not to exceed 45.
Yeah, I guess different generators would produce different decibels. Okay. That'll come when we open our regular meeting, which is now. So, first order of business, regular meeting is approval of previous meeting minutes.
All right, to approve, submit a motion to approve the meetings of the minutes.
All in favor?
Right.
Yeah.
Aye.
All
Second.
opposed? None. Second order is the vote on recommendation to the city council with respect to the zoning amendment, which would regulate the use of food trucks on private property. And, Mr. Abrams, you want to offer that as a motion?
Yes, I'd like to offer that as a motion and a recommendation to the city council that they consider, when they approve a license for a food truck, that they put an ordinance there for decibels and recommend that they use the decibel limit of 45 dBA.
Okay, that'll be written into the recommendation of the planning board.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
All opposed? None. Hearing none. Voted and so ordered. Next order of business is request for a street extension on Richard Street. This plan has been before the Site Plan Review Committee a number of times for review from the DPW superintendent, city engineer, and fire department. And plan has been approved and signed by those departments. And we have the engineer, Rick Salvo, put the plan together here, may want to present it to the planning board.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Rick Salvo with Engineering Alliance. This is a pretty straightforward request. It's a 40-foot right-of-way. We're extending the road about 125 feet to the intersection of Walnut Street, where it will connect. If you drive down there and take a look at it, you can see it's already almost kind of graded to be a road. So there's not a significant amount of grading that's going to take place. We did work with the city engineer. We'd started out with a 24-foot wide road, and he requested that get widened out to a 30-foot wide road, so it'd be consistent, set it in the right-of-way. We'll be building cement concrete sidewalks on the proposed house side of the lot, and we'll be installing 2 deep sump hooded catch basins to a manhole that will tie into the drainage system that'll collect the runoff from this road. There's already a water line in this road that exists. The utilities for the house will connect into Walnut Street into the water and sewer there. So that's essentially the request. Like I said, it got vetted out by fire department, city engineer, and DPW superintendent. So I'd be happy to answer any questions or comments that you might have.
The means of the request is, there's someone has a home there and they want to have the accessibility to the home through this road, or?
That is correct. So this is the proposed house. Right now, the pavement ends down here, so we need to extend the road. Originally, we weren't going to extend it all the way down and connect it, but because it was longer than 250 feet from the closest intersection, the fire department needed a turnaround. There wasn't really enough room there to create a full cul-de-sac. It didn't seem to make sense to add all that pavement. So we just worked with site plan review committee and thought it best just to connect the 2 streets.
Thank you. And you mentioned that they'll tie in the drainage to the main line.
Correct.
I guess looking ahead, if there needs to be work done to those lines, or if there's any, I don't know if there's any other type of infrastructure underneath it, and the road is dug up, who's responsible, I guess, for repairs? Does this fall on the city now? Is the city paying for this project, or?
So Richard Street, this stretch of Richard Street will be a private way, it's my understanding, should this get approved tonight. At which point, once it's built, they could go to the council and move to have the rest of Richard Street accepted. At that point, it would become the city's responsibility.
Just have a question, Tim. How you doing? Good to see you again. How many houses will be on this street, on the extension? Is there
Just one.
just that one right there? There's nothing across the street from it?
Across the street, it's already developed.
Is that another, I'm sorry. Is that another house across the street?
There's an existing home there.
So he's on Walnut Street, right?
Correct.
So there's another lot there, there's a small little lot in between that house on the corner of Walnut and the other one on Richard, right
There's a
there.
lot right here. I don't know what size that lot is. I don't know if it's big enough to be buildable or what the story with it is or who owns it, but yeah. So there could potentially be as much as one more house built here, but that would be it.
You know better than I do, but how many houses have to be on a street that is still considered private? I mean, that's 1, 2, I'm looking at possibly on Richard Street right now, or in the extension, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Well,
maybe
Richard
6.
Street exists up to right here right now. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. This house fronts on Walnut, so there could be as many as 2 houses that could be accessed from that extension.
Do the
But again,
residents-
it's a 30-foot wide paved road. There's enough room for parking on both sides of the street. It's like, same as every other public street in Revere.
Do the residents want to keep it a private street, or do they want to make it public? Or we don't know yet?
Don't know yet. It's certainly gonna be improvement, because right now the trucks have to back out of there when they plow in the wintertime, so at least now they'll be able to,
Very
they'll
good
probably
point.
be able to push right straight through. And the trash truck doesn't have to back down the street anymore, now it'll be able to drive through, so there's a lot of, reasons to, to do this, outside of just this one single-family house.
Very good point. Thank you very much.
Has it been a private road all along?
Well, it's an undeveloped private way, that section of it, I
That
think.
section, right?
Yeah.
But the Richard Street without the extension.
Yeah, Frank, do you recall if that front part of Richard Street was accepted? I don't recall the answer
I
to
don't
that
believe so,
question.
no.
Yeah.
It might be because it does have the width requirement. I'll have to check the city clerk's office.
Nonetheless, it's going to be built to all city standards.
Anything else?
I don't have any further questions. Does anybody else have further questions?
No? No. Are we good?
Asked to move the
Yeah.
question?
Is there anybody here tonight to speak in in favor of this motion? Are there any opponents here to speak to this tonight? Hearing and
As
seeing
city
none.
planner, I'll speak in favor of it, because this is something we've been wanting to do for many years. Ever since Walnut Street was extended and this new subdivision of homes was built up there, it was difficult to, number one, it provides a nice loop to our water system, and it was difficult for the fire department to get in and out up there, especially dealing with brush fires up in North Revere. This allows them better access to that area.
No other proponents to speak tonight? Hearing and seeing none. No opponents to speak to this tonight? Hearing and seeing none. Ready to advance to a vote?
Yep. We have a motion. Do we have a motion to approve the
Motion to
Richard
approve.
Street Extension Plan?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Stamatopoulos. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll take a roll call. Vote on the motion to approve. Mr. Abrams?
Yes.
Mr. Rivera?
Yes.
Ms. Simmons Hurling?
Yes.
And Mr. Stamatopoulos?
Yes.
Okay, voted, so ordered.
Thank you for your time, appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's it.
It's your home? It is, yes. Hey, it's gonna, both, thank you. I think it's gonna make your neighborhood even nicer. I wish you well. Good luck.
I appreciate your time.
And thank,
Traffic on the other side, on, Walnut Street.
So it's right now, nobody knows about it, so it's really quiet. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank you.
no new business. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
motion adjourned.
Motion adjourned. All in favor? All opposed?
Thank you.
Guys,